Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I have come up with a new topic about logs. Generally, in any application development, logs plays a major role. It can be used for local debugging while development, and in the production logs, you can find out any production issues. Let us learn how to log with a Winston library in Node.js REST API. I will provide step-by-step guide to how to console logs in the terminal and how to store logs in a file, how to store logs in a MongoDB database. So I will use a cloud-based database and another external tool using a cloud-based log management. Like we have different cloud-based log tools. So I will show you one of the example. So first of all, what is Winston? So it is a logging library for Node.js. It supports multiple logging transports. What are different transports? For example, console. So this is used for logging in the terminal. So file transport. So for example, if you want to store the logs inside a file, so this will help. And database as well as different other transports available. So why use Winston for logging? As I mentioned, it can be used for debugging and monitoring. Logs help debug issues in the development and monitor system behavior. So in the production, you might want to observe the behavior, how the requests are happening, and if any errors are there, so it will help to immediately find the issues. So flexibility and structure. Winston is flexible and supports structured level based logging. You can store different types of logs, for example information logs, error logs, and warning logs. Different logs are there and different levels. In that way it is flexible and it supports that different structures and multiple logging formats. As I mentioned already, store logs in multiple formats in the cloud or in the database or in the file or in the console. So we can learn different perspectives. So what are the prerequisites for this project? So we need a Node.js and Express.js. So I will be using Express.js framework, which is a Node.js framework for creating REST API. And we need to use Winston and MongoDB. In order to store in the database, we need MongoDB transport as well. So that's why we have to install Winston as well as Winston MongoDB. So we need a database to store the logs. So we will use MongoDB Cloud Atlas database. Okay, so first of all, we have to set up the project, create and initialize the project. So we have to create the directory. So let me copy this command. Okay, so I have opened the command prompt. Here, let us create the directory. Let us change into this. From here onwards, I will open VS Code using this command. Okay, so we have opened the Visual Studio Code with the project folder. Okay, so as I mentioned, we will be making use of Node.js. So you can go to this link and download Node.js. I will be using MongoDB Cloud Database. So you can go to this website and create a project inside the organization. First of all, it will ask you to create the organization. As you can see, I have created one test organization. Inside, I have a project. If I go inside this project, okay, so I have already created a cluster. You can see there is a button called create cluster. So you can create one by following the instructions given. So I will be making use of this Winston package, and we will use this other Winston daily rotate file as well. The other cloud-based tool that I'm going to show is Logly. Using this tool, I will show one example how to store logs inside this tool. You can use different tools for external log-based tools. So just as an example, I'm showing this. Okay, so we have created the project folder. Let us start creating the package.json file. So here we can use npm init-y. So this will create a package.json file. Okay, if you use this -y, it will not ask any prompt. So it will directly create this package.json file. So first of all, I will change this file to server.js. So I will name it my starting file as server.js. Update the importing module syntax. So I will make use of ES modules. So we have created our project using this npm init command. Let us install the dependencies. npm install express for creating the RESTful API and Winston library. So we need Winston MongoDB npm library as well. And apart from this, I will also install .env for managing environment variables. Let us create these dependencies for now. Alright, so packages are installed. So I will also install one more thing, which is the nodemon as a dev dependency. So first of all, I will update the scripts. So I will add a dev command. So I will make use of nodemon, which will watch the server.js file. Okay, so let us create that file, server.js. So first of all, we have to import express from express. Let us create variable called port. So you can get this port number from environment variables. You can have an alternative backup here. So I will use 5000. As you can see, I'm accessing env. So I need .env file here. Okay, so here I will create a port variable with the 5000. So let us create this app using express, and here I will start listening. First of all, I will start the application on this port. Okay, so here you can observe, so I'm using the console.log. Server is running on port, so I will soon replace this console log with Winston logs. Open the terminal. So I will open another terminal. Okay, so here we can run npm run dev. So you can see server is running on port 5000. Okay, so since we are using environment variables, let us import .env from a .env package. Before the application, let us call .env.config function. So in this way, this will ensure that environment variables are readable from the .env file. So here, first of all, we have to configure the Winston library. In the project folder, let us create a file called logger.js file. Okay, so let us understand how this Winston library is working. So you can see a logger for just about everything. So in the usage, you can observe we can create loggers with different transports. This information is a default one, so we can customize them according to our transports. And you can observe this if the environment is different one, so you can attach different loggers. Since we are using ECMAScript module syntax, so import create logger from Winston, and apart from this we need format and transports. So we will make use of other functions. So first of all, you can see we can create one object like this and export default logger. You can customize like different variables. For example, you can create one for development logger, and you can create one for production loggers, and you can export according to the environment. So in this way you can customize this. In this example, I'm not doing such things, so just simply using a logger and exporting this one. I will customize this inside here. So we need to call this transports, and we can configure inside this array. Okay, so first of all, I will show you how to console log. So first of all, I will provide the format. We can use different types. Here you can observe from the format, we can call the combine method. So basically combine is used to combine multiple formats into single one. So let us see format.simple, and then we can go one by one. Okay, so we are exporting this format as a default. So we need to import this one. So import logger from logger.js file. Okay, don't forget to add this .js as well. Okay, so since we have imported logger, so let us try to replace this logger. So I will show both here logger dot. So when I say dot, you can observe there are different options available for us. So info log, error, debug, warning, and log. So let us use this info log and see how it is logging. So let me open the terminal here. Yeah, you can observe this is a default nodejs console log, this one, and the other log is based on the info log using our custom logger. Okay, so you can observe it is giving info and the message we are passing here. Let us see how we can customize this. We are using simple format. Now I want to add further. So let's say you want to colorize them. Okay, so it should colorize actually. Let us do one thing. Let us shift these formats. So let us keep colorize at the top. Let us save. Hopefully it will update. Yeah, I don't know why top down approach is matters here. For example, if you have different logs here, so let us save and see. So these are the different color kind of things. So now you can see the format is very simple. So now you can update this instead of simple. So let's say format.json. Okay, let us try to see how this is coming. There is one thing I would like to say. Due to the color hex code things, they are not interpreted properly. So in local, in the console transport, you cannot use JSON, which does not make any sense. So I will use this simple format only, but I will add one more thing here. So format dot timestamp. Okay, let us save this. Okay, so basically we should see timestamp along with the message. Maybe let's try to put this at the top. Not sure if it matters. Sequence of format. As you can observe, we are getting more information now. The level of info, log message, and the timestamp. Let us look at this Winston. So basically, if you look at the usage they are given, so initially you can customize default options. For example, here in the transports array, you can customize according to console or file, but there are some default options we can provide, which we can eliminate the duplication. Instead of having the timestamp, take this and put here. So now you can see I will remove the simple format. So I will remove the colorize thing. I will update format dot JSON here. So by default I will have a timestamp as well as a format in JSON. Now in the transports array, according to the particular transport, so you can override them. For example, since we are having the timestamp here, so we can remove this. Either you can have only one, so it can be JSON or simple. So since we are using simple, so simple will override the JSON format. So let us save this and see how it is coming in the terminal. Okay, so you can see it has updated again. Okay, so let us add different formats now. I will show you how to add logs in the file. Okay, so using this file transport without the colors, I will have logs folder and then followed by app.log. So file name can be according to your requirement. Here I'm using app.log. Let us save this. Okay, now you can see in the project folder, I have a folder created called logs and it has app.log now, which is storing the information in JSON format. Since we are not mentioning any format, so it will take the data from default format options. Because of that, we are having in a JSON format. Okay, so this one is console transport with colors, file transport without colors. So I have already prepared the snippets to save some time, so I will make use of that. So here you can see I have added two MongoDB transports, one for storing info logs separately and one for storing error logs separately. And you need to observe the options. So the level which I have is info. So here DB, I should provide the database URI. So basically our MongoDB connection URI. And collection, here collection is nothing but you can think like a table. So collection is basically group of documents. So I'm naming the collection name is info logs. So here error logs. We need to have a environment variable. Okay, so let us save this file first of all. There are a couple of things we need to update. First of all, let us have this variable here. So if you have a MongoDB installed or downloaded in the local, you can update to that path. Once you create the cluster, so you need to make sure you have a database access. Here I have created a database user already. So here you can observe the authentication methods. So you can create a user based on different approaches. So you can create your username and you can provide the password, something like this. Here you need to add a role. You need to select a role. So anyone which can able to write to the database. Since I have already created the user, I'm not adding. And the next thing is you need to have a network access. So here I have added any IP address. So which means anyone able to access this MongoDB database, which is not recommended. So basically whenever you are adding IP address, it should be your server IP address. So since for the demo purpose, I'm allowing IP address so that I will be able to reach out to this database. So you can see an option called connect here. When you click on it, So you will be able to select this connect to your application drivers method. So since we are using Node.js, so I'm not using this MongoDB package, but I need this connection URI. Okay, this one. So done. Okay, so in the MongoDB URI, we can paste that URI, and here provide DB name. So for example, so here I'm adding like logs. So you need to provide with your password. This is the username and the password which you created. Okay, so this is my URI. So the change here is we need to replace our password and you need to add this DB name. So I have added as logs. So we have the environment variable available. Next thing is so we have installed MongoDB package for Winston, right? Winston MongoDB. So we need this in order to add this MongoDB transport. Import Winston MongoDB like this. So the error is coming because so it is not reading this environment variables. So if I show in the console log, so let me save this and see. You can see it is coming as undefined. Let us do one thing. So from our server folder, import these things. So I will remove this logger import. Now I will save. So it is restarting the server. So now we have no errors. So which means we have logs in the terminal. That is because this console transport. So we need to have logs in the file. So let us open this. Now you can see much more logs. We need to have logs for MongoDB database for info log as well as error logs. So since we already logging info and error, it should be able to store the logs in the database. So let me browse collections. So we have a database called logs created that contains error logs and info logs collection. You can already observe we have a timestamp level is error, the message, whatever we are sending, and metadata. So basically any other information we pass, it will get stored into metadata. So now you can ask me why there are two fields, timestamp fields. So basically MongoDB attaches one by default. So because of that, you are getting this timestamp field. You can even ignore this timestamp from Winston. We can find some different options. So for now, let us move on. Later on, we can see how we can avoid that. Okay, so let us look at the info logs. You can observe that there are three types of logs stored here: info, error, and warning. Basically, if we look at the npm package that we have, so in the Winston npm, so you can observe the levels have a priority. For example, if you take this one, so info level has priority 2. You can observe error has 0, warning has 1, info has 2. If we mention info level, it will include the logs which are less than that level. Since we have info, so it is considering error logs as well as warning logs. So let's say, let us consider taking one for warning as well. So I will update the individual logs. Let us have warning logs like this. So before saving, I will do one thing. From the database, I will remove the entire database. So let us remove them once to have a clean database. Okay, so we do not have any data right now. Also, I will remove from the file as well. Save this. Okay, let us save this logger as well. So we have the logs. App has logs. Let us refresh. Okay, so error has a separate log. Info, warning, let us see. So warning and error because of this level priority. Info is basically gathering all types of logs, right? Which are less than the priority, less than and equal to that priority. So let us add a few more logs apart from this. So basically I will remove these logs from here. I will remove this console.log. Okay, so let us add a few examples. So you can see log incoming request. So this is a middleware, so which I'm attaching to Express. So here basically I'm logging info. You can observe there is a difference with this approach and with this one. So basically I'm sending two arguments to this info method. One is incoming request, and here I have a additional information method URL, and this info is straightforward. So let us save this. Okay, we have info. Let me remove these logs from here. So now let us go to browser and make a request to root endpoint. Okay, so welcome to Winston logging. So let us observe if we have any log in the terminal. So I have incoming request get, and I have another info log. So this is coming for this favicon. Let us look at MongoDB, how the info log is showing up. Refresh. Okay, info. Yeah, in the metadata you can observe. So method is get method, URL is endpoint, root endpoint. Further additional information is getting stored in this metadata object. So this is how like MongoDB stores additional information whenever you have additional information which you are passing as two different arguments. So like this. So this incoming request is stored as message, and other object get stored in this metadata object. We have completed configuring Winston, right? So we have integrated our logger into our Express app inside our app.js. So it can be server.js. After adding, so we verified console logs in the terminal, right? For local debugging. File logs basically in the file, right? In the app.log. So we can observe these logs, and MongoDB database as well. So if you are using MongoDB which is installed inside the system, so you can use this command in order to check the logs. Let's look at other scenario, adding log rotation. So why it is necessary? So basically, let's say inside the app you have a file, inside that you are storing the logs. So let's say it is getting out of storage. So how do you manage? You need to store logs as per date. Today's log should be in a separate file. So how do you rotate? How do you manage that? So we can make use of this Winston daily rotate. So let's look at the npm. So Winston daily rotate file, a transport which logs to a rotating file. Log can be rotated based on date, size, limit, and old logs can be removed based on the count. So you can use this command to install, and there are different options which we can read and understand. So let us continue. So basically we need to install and then update our transport like this. Here I will install this Winston daily rotate file package. The package is installed. So let us continue with package. You can see first of all we need to import. So we need to update our logger.js file with this. We have this transport. So let us look at the npm. The usage is like you have to import, you have to create this transport. So ES6 we can import like this. After this, import Winston daily rotate file. So here what I will do, I will comment this one because we will replace this with the Winston daily rotate. Okay, so let me copy this. So you can see we have added Winston daily rotate file transport. So the file name is like based on the logs folder. We are naming with the date. So this is the format you should use. There are some properties which we are using. For example, max size. So let us see what is max size means. Max size, the maximum size of the file after which it will rotate. Okay, this can be number of bytes or units in KB, MB or GB. So if the unit add K, M or G as the suffix, right? So here what we are saying, we are using 20M, which means 20 MB. After 20 MB, it will rotate the file. The max size which is allowed for each file is 20 MB. Okay, next one is max files, 14D. Let us see max files, this one. So the maximum number of logs to keep, if not set, no logs will be removed. This can be number of files or number of days. If using days, add D as a suffix. So max files means it will maintain 14 days. There will be total 14 files which are maintained overall. After 14 days, it will start deleting from the first day onwards. So in that way, it will maintain 14 days of logs. So that's why we are saying 14D. Okay, zipped archive. So it is set to true. So a boolean to define whether or not to gzip archived log files. So you can go through the options and update accordingly to your requirement. So for now I am saving. So before that I will remove this, delete this folder, logs folder, delete. Okay, since the application is running, it is not allowing to remove the log folder. It's fine. Let's keep this file, no problem. So it should create a file with the application date format. So let us go to the terminal, save like this. So you can see it is using the date. So the details which you have provided in the options, it will get stored in this audit JSON file. I encourage to go through this npm package to understand much more better. In this way, you can make use of rotations, log rotations. All right, let us continue. Cloud-based log setup using Logly. You need to create a account first of all, sign up for the account. So once you create that, you need to create a customer token. So in the Logly dashboard, you need to go to source setup and customer tokens. I didn't try this before, so I'm just practicing along with you in the recording demo. So the one thing I did was I already created an account. This has pricing levels. They have a free trial only for 30 days. If it is usable for you, so as per your business and requirements, you may choose the options. For now, for the demo purpose, I'm using the free trial. I have already created an account. Let us continue. So we need to go to source setup and then customer tokens. Setup log source. There are different options. So for example, you have a web server and you can choose the option. You have a programming language as well. If you are using nodejs, you can click that. So for me, I'm creating the web server using the nodejs. If you have a different servers, you can choose that option. Let us choose this. Here you can see, so we have to install this Winston logly bulk package. So this second command is also saying Winston, so which we already installed. And then step 2, configure this using like this. Okay, so first of all, let us copy this. So let us go to the terminal and inside the package npm install Winston logly bulk. We can see the package is installed. Let us go to this logger.js file. So it is saying that we should add this. So I will copy this. So in the transports array, so inside this we have to add. So here I'm adding like this. So first of all, we need to import this since we have already installed. So I'm just importing. So you can see the object, it is taking few parameters options. One is the token, customer token, which I mentioned. So this subdomain, while you creating the account, it will ask you to provide a name. So I have provided subdomain, which is our channel name. Basically, as per your project, so you should provide the subdomain. So tags are like different. Group the logs using the tags. So JSON format for this case. Here, what I will do. Let us create this environment variables and store the token. Subdomain. Okay, web wizard. Here we can remove this. So I'm fine with this. Hopefully there are no errors. Okay, so we have configured our account. So let us see if any logs has been stored. Okay, show me my logs. Let us see. So the tag, the client, host, content type, info, message, timestamps. Method is get info level, message, incoming request, timestamp. Okay, so different charts. Okay, so you can create your charts as well. So this is not in-depth tutorial, so I need to explore this. So this is an example of how to make use of external logging services. So you can observe, you can filter based on the time. So this is how you can filter the search. Okay, let us continue. We have performed these actions as well. We already did this. Yeah, we already configured logly transport using this. Okay, so we already verified the logs inside the application. Logly into dashboard, right? We tried filtering the tags as well. So best practices. So whatever we have performed till now. So using logs wisely, having info logs separately, warning logs, error for critical failures. So separate logs will help you to debug in a much faster and avoiding log sensitive data, so we are not doing this, logging any passwords or API keys or personal information. So monitor log size. So basically using this log rotation, so you can manage the file size and the storage inside the system. Centralize and monitor logs. So use tools like Logly, which we have used in this demo. So there are other alternative options, Elasticsearch or Datadog, for better monitoring. You have the options to choose. So conclusion and questions. So you have learned how to log with the Winston to the console, file, MongoDB and cloud environment, external service, integrated Winston into Express application. So we have explored best practices and advanced options like log rotation. Ask any questions about Winston or logging practices in the comment section. Even me or anybody who has knowledge can help you out. So this will help everybody to learn. That's all about this video. I hope this video is helpful, and I tried my best to give the step-by-step way of implementing the logs instead of having regular console logs. It can be a learning. If you don't know all these things, you can even try to implement this in your projects. That's all for this video. I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye.